Hello there. Happy Halloween to all the vampires, werewolves, mages, changelings, and wraiths watching. As for you hunters out there, let the supernatural have its fun this weekend. Welcome to the Initiative Order and our Vampire Masquerade miniseries, The Auld Towne, a Boston by Night Chronicle, Chapter 4, Beneath the Mask. Before we dive back into this Dionysian night filled with vitriolic twilight, let's meet our wonderful vampires, starting with Krow.
I wasn't prepared for this on the exam. Hi, I'm Krow. I am the Venture playing Johnny Angel. Or I am playing a Johnny Angel who is a Venture. I don't know. I'm a little bit afraid of what's going to happen. So bear with me.
Everything's going to be fine. Next up, Rachel B.
Hi, I'm Rachel Beauregard. I am playing Roisin Lynch, owner-operator of the Crimson Clover, and the most fabulous toreador anybody knows, as far as she's concerned.
Once again, facts are facts. Next up, Rachel J.
Hi, I'm Rachel J. Wilkinson, and I am going to be playing Jane Dewey, your resident Malkavian, who is going to take a special interest in Johnny tonight.
Aren't we all? And finally, Tsai.
Hello, I'm Tsai. I'll be playing Aiden Chou, a Tremere college student burglar who likes to keep his blood at a distance, but your valuables within arm's reach.
Yeah, that checks out. Thank you, Tsai. As for myself, hello, my name is Nate Bushman. I am your storyteller, ghost with the most, and your crypt keeper of horror this evening. Before darkness falls across the land, as the midnight hour is close at hand, a brief content warning. Vampire the Masquerade is a game of personal and political horror. Expect the frights to be that of a mature level. It is Halloween weekend, after all. If things get a little too much, dear viewer, there's nothing wrong with taking a break and coming back later. And without further ado, our dear Questari coterie, who secrets are our bread and butter, let's tell another Tales from the Crypt, as it were. Last session, the coterie was assigned by Prince Hazel Iverson to check on a local Tremere out in Harvard Square who hasn't been seen in the tower for a few days. Josephine Moreau, clan whip to Tremere Primogen Dejan Sayaka, joined you on this excursion. When you got to Harvard Square, specifically Mount Auburn Street, you noticed something odd about the address you were given. The front door was open, or rather, the front door had been broken open. As Josephine slowly led the charge inside, an ominous feeling settled in as the lights refused to work, and upon arriving on the third floor, Josephine's levels of cool fled as panic settled in. The door to the Tremere's home was open, but inside was dark. Jane led the charge into the apartment. Upon turning on the lights, pure horror. Blood everywhere. Shredded limbs, giant claw marks upon two bodies. A third body was decomposing before your very eyes with parts of it dusting away. On the wall, there was a message written in blood, one Jane and Roisin saw in a vision. Don't worry. Be happy. As you investigated the room, you came across alarming information. Two dead mortals had specialty guns that housed incendiary ammunition. However, none of them fired off. Both guns were fully loaded. The decomposing body was that of the Tremere you were sent to check on. Alif Parla was their name. You found a notebook of theirs on a countertop. At the back of the notebook was a list of 10 kindred with dates listing when they were last seen in Boston. These 10 are supposedly the missing kindred in the city. The disappearances appear to have been going on for about a month at least. On the opposite page where those 10 kindred were listed, you found a name. It was almost, actually, the page was exactly like the Charlie Day corkboard of going, like to that map. A name circled multiple times. A name that is utterly unsettling to just say out loud. Someone by the name of a Mr. Scratch. No one in the coterie nor Josephine has heard of this name before, but kind of sends a shiver down your undead spine anytime you hear it said. Finally, where we will pick up, Jane's heightened senses heard someone coming up the stairs. To Johnny's annoyance, as they had a firearm in plain view, they told you to please make contact with Fiorenza. She's tired of your games, Mr. Angel. Johnny, right as you pick up your phone to call Fiorenza, while Roisin has another premonition about an unknown killer, hearing that music for Don't Worry, Be Happy playing as claw marks scrape against a wall somewhere, a shot goes off. The person in front of you, the envoy, supposedly for Fiorenza, drops to the floor as a gaping hole in their head sprays at you. A light flashes before your eyes. There are two people in suits walking down the hallway. They're pointing firearms in the direction of where all of you are in the room. What do you do?
Immediately, without even caring that this man just took a bullet to the dome, pushes him out the doorway, slams the door, and whatever he can get his hands on just throws that in front of that door and makes his way back to the group. And he's shouting, by the way, like, okay, we're gonna have to get out. We're gonna have to get out the window. Don't ask any questions. Out the window now. Let's go.
I do want to see if the exit point of the shot of the guy's head, if it's cinders or if it's normal.
It's normal.
Okay. That's a little reassuring, at least.
Also, the sound was not loud. It was very silent.
We're leaving. Just like that, we're just leaving?
Oh, no. Oh. To the dome. One of Fiorenza's guys just got shot in the head. I don't know who the other two are. We are not going to ask any questions. We're just going to go out. We're going to ask those questions later. Okay. And he's going to look at Ro. Is she still in her mind thing or no?
You're out of it at this point.
I would assume that the shot, even as quiet as it was, would have knocked me out of it.
Yep.
We're on the second floor?
Third floor.
Third floor?
Should be a fire escape.
I was just gonna defenestrate, but superhero landing, total poser.
Jane Dewey's not built for that. She's gonna take the fire escape.
Aiden will also flee. He prefers non-confrontation when possible.
Johnny is going to make sure that everyone else is clear, including the one we were escorting, making sure she gets out of there. He is going to make sure he has one of the guns with the incendiary rounds, just in case, even if they're kind, if they get hit, well, getting hit with an incendiary round is still going to hurt no matter what. But he's making sure everyone is getting out. Okay, gotta go. If you got to jump down, don't break anything. Wait, you can't.
I think I took one of the guns last time.
Did we take one? That's right.
Yep, you have two guns in that room. They're both fully loaded with incendiary ammunition.
Didn't you
and Aiden has
buy
one
one
of
with
them.
2 stars?
That's
Yes.
right. He did.
Can I? The windows, are they open? Should I throw a chair through them?
They're not open. If you want, you can just, it's the type of one where it's just hold the latch, lift it up.
Can I do
Okay.
a quick look outside to make sure there's no one out there waiting for us to jump out?
Sure. Give me wits plus awareness.
What's an awareness? Always make sure the coast is clear before you do an awesome, dramatic break through the window escape.
With a
Good thinking,
superhero
Aiden.
landing. Don't forget that.
And a difficulty or?
3.
Uh-oh. Okay. I'd like to use willpower if possible.
By all means, reroll 3 dice. Just not your hunger dice.
Right. Yes. I got 2 successes so far, so I'm hoping for a third. Okay, 2 more successes, so 4.
You do not see anyone on the street. It's like almost 3:30 in the morning. There's no one out there.
No additional car that I didn't
The
notice
only
earlier.
thing you do see that is interesting is you recognize the car that you got there in is still parked in the front. So Roisin's driver, their car is parked right in front, which seems a little odd considering they said they were going to circle the block as Roisin suggested.
Yeah, definitely mentioning that to Roisin. I don't know if she has some kind of grand scheme I'm not aware of, but it seems like it'd be good to give her all the information. Is that supposed to be there? Pointing to the car.
God, I forget what I said to him last time. I told him to circle the block and then come back. Yeah,
I believe so, yeah.
as far as I'm aware. Maybe make sure it's our Uber before we get in, but shall we?
Okay.
And also, when you look out the window, just to add to your wits and wares, there is a fire escape.
Oh, perfect.
It's one of those ones like it's more in New York. I see these, but the ones where you can just go down, to like take the steps down and whatnot. But you also need to, when it gets to the second floor, it stops there. So if you want to get to street level, you either have to kick a ladder down or you just jump down.
Yeah, and it seems like Johnny's making sure is staying behind until everyone exits. Okay, then Aiden will do the honorable thing and exit first.
For
Jay's
Johnny's
gonna
sake,
follow Aiden. Yeah.
for Johnny's
Aiden's-
sake, they're trying to push open the door, but they're not doing a very good job of it.
Oh, okay, that's great. He's just gonna make the most of like, okay, come on.
Yeah, I'll follow Jane.
I'll help give people a hand outside on the fire escape.
And then, all 3 of you are out on the fire escape. Johnny, you were the only one left in that room. That is, again, it's bathed in red. You see 3 bodies, writing on the wall.
It's gonna be hard to clean up. I don't have any, because I don't want a frenzy. I mean, I could do it. F it, I'm gonna have to do it. He's just gonna go, did anyone get pictures?
I took pictures with my phone.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you did. You're good. I'll go with that. Yeah.
Are there
You've been in there a while. I feel like one of you definitely took pictures, so you're fine.
Are there any like curtains or anything in the vicinity?
Yeah, by the windows.
He is going to go and light those and take off. Slam that window
Oh,
down.
snap. Okay. I want to check something.
Is it?
Oh, right. Go ahead.
Isn't fire a bad thing for us?
Yes,
Not if you're leaving.
but we're leaving.
How do you
Okay.
light it? Do you just shoot at it?
Yeah, I'm just making sure that like it's flammable and it catches on fire. Like I'm not trying to make this like perfect. I'm trying to.
No, what I meant is, do you shoot it with the specialized gun with the incendiary ammo, or do you let it match?
Oh, you know what? Now I have to use a match because if I fire around, it's gonna wake up everyone. And I don't want to wake up everyone. I just want to kind of catch the room on fire. If the fire alarm goes off, that's normal. But like another gunshot going off, that causes attention.
I can
Yep,
chuck
that
you
would
my
be more-
Zippo.
If you need something quick, I could try to use my new trick to like just short out the entire building and cause an electrical fire.
That would also work.
I would say, okay, how do I want to do that roll? If you want to do that, I gotta remember something. on
Path
your
of
sheet.
11 bolts. I have 3 points of blood sorcery currently.
Yes, you do. I gotta
Yes.
remember. Let's do it as. Oh god, this is always interesting. Let's see. Blood sorcery. No, we'll just do it this. I want it to be interesting. Blood sorcery plus composure.
Plus composure.
And the way we'll do this is, because this is how I want to do it, this is a difficulty of at least, not to be cruel, this is a difficulty of 4. Part of that is you need to focus on what you're doing, because if you fail it, you might get a little static charge back at you.
No, very fair, very fair. So seeing
Yeah.
Johnny maybe look at the gun, decide against to pull out a book of matches and try to like quickly start a fire, I just reach back into the the home, like feel around for some kind of like light switch or socket, and when I find one, I just fully vent as much charge as I can into it. My blood sorcery is at 3. My composure is only at 2, unfortunately. So let's see how this goes. Only 2. I'm gonna use another willpower.
By all means.
I can only re-roll 2 dice, unfortunately. So okay, I got 2. So that is 4.
Good job. Nice. In the heat of the moment. Good job. You stand at that outlet or the electrical area you're at, and you just tune everyone out as you try your best, especially as for context, Josephine also is the 4th one who follows you all out to the fire escape. She looks at you though and just keeps saying, just remember, concentrate, tune everything out, and just you got this. And you do exactly that. You tune everyone out. It goes dead silent for you. And you feel it in your hands as it wells up. You feel this electrical current go through your fingers as you literally shoot electricity right into that power outlet. And the next thing you know is you hear all the alarms go off in the building. Like it starts off as like a very small thing, but then the entire building has the fire alarm going off completely. And it's the type of building where, I'm going to say with this one, it's the one where it has the water sprinklers on the ceiling too. So water starts pouring down. So in a weird way, I guess that works out for the room that's all bathed in red. But yeah, you literally have caused the fire alarm to go off at 3:30 in the morning. There is water being sprayed everywhere, which also, thankfully, I would say the water happened after you shot electricity. So that way you don't get zapped.
Right. Johnny, were you wanting to burn the bodies to like preserve the masquerade? Was that your intention?
As much damage I could possibly cause that doesn't look like, hey, weird supernatural killer is on the loose. And this is more like weird crime of passion. Like some weird, someone shot this person, who shot that person, who killed that person, that set that on fire by accident. And there's 2 guys upstairs who was with the body right now. So all that together puts that on them to solve and not us.
Gotcha.
Are you all on the fire escape now? Out of curiosity?
Yeah, probably heading down to the 2nd floor.
Yep. And then Johnny would be the last one out the window, I assume. Okay. Johnny, for your sake, you hear an interesting noise. Obviously, you hear water coming down from the ceiling, but even with you have probably a little bit, your hearing could be a little bit more acute than regular mortals, we'll put it that way. Obviously, Jane has better heightened senses because heightened senses, hey. You hear it like as if something got thrown against the door to that apartment, and that another loud noise got thrown against that door, but you have no idea what it is as you just book it down that fire escape. All of you are on the 2nd floor. You don't see there is a ladder that connects to the 1st floor base, so you have to jump down.
I will jump.
And
So
do you
will I.
superhero land?
I mean, why not?
Yeah, you do. I'm just gonna say it happens. There's no role needed for that. I feel like as vampires, you would be able to withstand that type of height.
Oh, it's
Not
one of those
that far
cool
up.
things where like how we land kind of defines our characters. Like Aiden probably land like a cat, like kind of in a pouncing formation because he's a thief. Roshin's a boss, so superhero landing.
And then I flip my hair back. I cannot do it with this wig on, but yeah, she.
Very Jessica Jones. Again, Jane, have you jumped down?
Yeah.
Johnny?
I guess her jump will be like, oh my god, did I stand on my feet? Amazing. Look at this. Okay.
Johnny
And
jumps
then-
down,
yep.
but he jumps down with our gracious host, who was youngling. I just set apartment on fire. I'm just grabbing her and jumping down. No time for questions. And just land.
Josephine doesn't question it. She seems like she's going to say something. It's like, and then you just grab her and you jump down, and she's just looking at you like, oh, that was exciting, terrifying, exciting, but terrifying. And again, she does that weird thing where when you do that, she breathes in again, almost as if an anxiety moment, and breathes out, even though she doesn't need to do that. And then as you're all on the street, you see a very strange thing happen. Well, two things. I'm going to say multiple things. One, you see where your driver's car is. Your driver's in there. However, driver's not awake. Driver has a shot right in his head.
Oh, I like
He's-
him.
Yeah, Bill is gone.
Oh, Vampire
The second
Bill.
thing you notice is the front door flies open, and Johnny, one of the assailants you saw, gets thrown 10 feet out the door. And then the other one, you're not really sure how this is happening. They're not being thrown out, they're being dragged out, and then they are hoisted 2 feet in the air by what can best be described as shadowy, oily, black tendrils. And you
Oh.
notice, for some reason, and you have no idea where the fuck this person came from, someone walks out with just immense shadows covering them. And then Johnny and Roisin would notice immediately. Somehow in that span of time since you left the Crimson Clover, granted it's been a few hours, Lydia somehow is in the front door and she's hoisting someone now 5 feet in the air with
Oh,
shadowy
thank God it's
tendrils underneath them. And her eyes are as black as obsidian in the process. She's
So
not
wait,
looking at you. She
She's
has
attacking
this
the
thing.
people who are attacking us?
Yes.
Oh, so we're fine.
Yeah. The other person who got
Say
thrown
that.
10 feet, they're not moving. They're on the ground and they are like in agonizing pain. The person who's literally 5 feet off the ground at this point, you see them writhe around for a second and then you hear a very disturbing that Jen just, the body flat drops to the floor. And then all these shadows just kind of dissipate as she just looks at the five of you. Doesn't even give you a moment to respond. It's like, we need to leave now. Follow me. No questions. Follow me now.
Okay. Let's do that.
And again, her eyes are just, if you get close enough, she had, as I mentioned to Roisin on, this was a while ago in our first session, she has kind of this emerald glow in her eyes that you've noticed for a while. There is no green. It is pure black. It's as oily black as anything you've ever seen in your life, and it's not really something you find settling. It's just very unnerving.
Keep that in mind for later. Right now, I will just. Is she going on foot or are we getting into the car?
She's literally walking away from the scene, not towards a car. She's just walking down the street and she's slightly moving at a very quicker pace.
I'll do a quick head count, make sure the entire field trip is here, and then let's follow.
Hustling after.
Josephine just looks at all of you like, what the fuck was that? How did she?
She
Um,
does crazy shadow magic. I've seen it before. We don't ask questions.
Conversation to have
She
once
just-
we're out of danger.
Understood. And again, somehow she's still holding on to that fucking large book. That stupidly large grimoire. All of you
Nerd.
walk. Yeah, literally, nerd. She's a lovable nerd though.
Well,
all of
Jane's gonna
you-
look at it enviously because all she's holding is her little notebook, and Josephine's book is bigger, and that makes Jane mad.
I should get her like a book holster for Christmas or something.
Actually, that would be super awesome just to say all that. All of you book it down the street. Now, if I remember correctly, Jane, when you inspected that third body, you found a thing on it that mentioned some sort of club called the Sinclair.
Mhm.
That it's, yeah.
And I handed
You're
that
noticing-
to
Go ahead.
Roisin.
Yep, and Roisin got handed that. Both of you realize you're walking about 2 blocks away. You can now hear alarms going off as if there's like literal like fire truck or something coming down like farther away, but it's getting louder and louder. But when you keep looking behind, all of you, when you keep looking behind you, no one seems to be following you or anything. It seems like it's just the 5 of you plus Lydia now running down the street. Of all places, she takes you to a place that you see it. It's right outside the heart of Harvard Square. and the sign is clear as day. It says the Sinclair on it. It says music venue. She just starts walking up the steps and just looks at you all and says, "Inside, now." I promise you'll be safe inside. This is a safe place for us, I swear, but you need to get inside now. We don't need any more attention right now.
I trust her and just kind of make very fleeting eye contact as I go by her on the way in.
She gives you an extremely furious look.
I will look away, confused, because I don't know what the fuck I did to piss her off.
Yeah. Does everyone else follow inside?
Slight hesitation, but yeah.
Sure.
No question.
And Josephine's the same. She's like, I'm all good, lady. Just walks in, follows, more or less, she's following you, Aiden, kind of like right behind you as much as possible, because she's freaking the hell out of all of this. You go inside. It's about, like I mentioned, it's about 3:30 in the morning at this point, which you're getting very close to that time where you should, lay low for the day. You go into the music venue. You don't really see the actual venue itself. You walk in and you're in the bar, and it's this open area bar of sorts where the bar is on the far opposite end. There's these tables that are kind of done almost, this is a weird description to give, almost like a Viking style table layout where it comes out and then like that, almost like a U-shaped thing where you can just stand, have your drink. Lydia doesn't say anything, but you hear a voice coming off from the distance who just shouts out, "Lydia, is that you, my little white rabbit? You just missed the call with," and she sees all of you. "You just missed the call with Dinah. Hi there." Person you see before you, gorgeous curly afro. They are wearing a shirt from the punk band called the Bad Brains that they've modified into a tank top. They have on, as they move away from the bar, they have on black leggings that are ripped, but you can't tell if that's a designer aesthetic or it's just they naturally ripped. It just looks that good intentionally. They, of all things, have slippers on at the moment in a bar. And when they get closer to you, on their right forearm, clear as day, you see Alice from Disney's Alice in Wonderland, and it just says "Curiouser" and "Curiouser." And then Lydia just kind of ignores all of you and looks at this person, and they just have a very small conversation back and forth, like, "Wait, she called? How is she?" "Oh, she's good. New York's treating her well." Lydia, who the hell are these people and why are they in my home?" And she looks at all of you. "I'm gonna let them explain, as I need a few seconds to calm down." And she just walks off to either the restroom or some part of the back of the bar. And basically you have this person who I described is now just kind of staring at you, all very intently, as they have no idea who you are or what the hell is going on.
Hi, my name is Jane. What's yours?
You can call me Deborah.
Hi, Deborah. It's really nice to meet you. Thank you for letting us come into your home this evening.
Sure. Who the hell are the rest of you? Why are you in my club?
We were following orders from our fair friend Lydia.
Clearly, but also, who are the rest of you? She's staring at Aiden, Johnny, Roisin, Josephine.
The temptation to say, "I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you?"
One, that's an amazing reference. I appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Aiden. I don't know how much we can say. I look to my seniors. Because I don't want to get in trouble.
Hi, Roisin Lynch. I don't know, maybe you've heard of me, maybe I don't think we've ever met. However, we are here incidentally. We were out on Camarilla business. We were very rudely interrupted by a group of people seemingly with the intent to do us harm, and Lydia showed up we're very grateful that she did. She took care of these individuals and then brought us here. So while I apologize for the intrusion, I must clarify that we are not here of our own free will. We are not being held hostage, but again, incidental that we happened upon your domain.
Oh, Johnny, Angel, basically what the boss lady said. Is this place secure?
This place is airtight. She
Deborah?
walks up to Josephine. Yep, go ahead.
Deborah, right?
Yeah.
I understand that this is a minor inconvenience for you. Could I perhaps owe you for your hospitality this evening?
Before she answers, she walks up to Josephine, just looks her in the eye. It's like, oh, you're all safe. I'm Josephine. And she just does the most uncharacteristic, just boops right on her nose, like, you need to stop getting in trouble, little one, and just walks away. And then looks back at you. Jane's like, what are you offering?
Well, as you know, I'm sure it's just a minor inconvenience. So if we say we put a, minor favor on the books.
I'm all ears. And she grabs a stool and sits down and has the most staunchest of stances right now. Just like, I'm listening.
No, I'm offering.
I want to know that's what I'm asking. What is the offer of sorts? What are you proposing?
The ability to call in a favor later from me.
This is where she does something. She goes quiet for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. And you notice in that time, if you follow her eyes, they dart between the four of you. Josephine just walks by and just finally puts the book down and actually goes behind the bar and starts grabbing a bottle out of nowhere. Deborah just finally, after 30 seconds, stands up. It's like, okay. So what I'm hearing and seeing is, and she walks up to each of you individually as she says this. She walks up to Johnny and says, the favored boxer of our lovely prince, I have a troublemaker looking at Aiden, who seems to have trouble following their wake. That said, and she looks at you extremely intensely when she said this, keep an eye on that college barista friend of yours. Trouble seems to be following them. She walks up to you, Roisin, gives you an extremely genuine smile. Your reputation precedes you. Your club is very nice. Also, we seem to have a mutual acquaintance by the name of Dinah. And then Jane, she stares at you for a long, long time. The expression on her face goes from friendly to intense to alarm. Well now, hail to the king, Miss Dewey. Hail to the king. She just stares at you as if she saw a ghost. I'll take your offer, considering certain things that might or not be known amongst the room. You have free safety here as long as you need it.
Thank you.
That's when she
so much.
And that's when she walks away for a second and just puts a hand on Josephine's shoulder. And once again, you just hear her say, "Stop getting in trouble." And then she goes and grabs a drink from behind the bar. Lydia has not come back out yet.
Jane's going to take a couple of notes, not in the notebook they found, but in her notebook. So I guess she's carrying 2 notebooks now.
That's fine.
Yeah, and making a note, just, jotting down Deborah, Sinclair,
Aiden will turn to Johnny and say, "So we went there for a wellness check. Not very well. Are we done? Is that good? We put in our 5 and now we can, F off and do our own stuff?"
No, that's not how this works. The DEFCON has been raised by a few notches. Looks at Roe.
I wish if every time the Camarilla asked me to do something, it was as simple as what just happened.
When you say that out loud, Deborah just laughs so loudly. Like, yes, I wish the same damn thing of the ivory tower.
So wait, you're telling me they knew we would find that kind of stuff?
Not necessarily. More like, here's the thing. Missing Kindred is never a good sign. They don't just up and leave unless either pushed or they found something better. And it doesn't seem like they found something better in that desert.
Deborah comes back from where she was behind the bar and moves towards you. Wait a minute. Did you just say missing Kindred?
I might have.
Yeah,
If
are
you
we
have heard anything.
are we under Kindred NDA? How does that work?
You are in a Camarilla-owned establishment. You're safe.
Cool.
Granted,
cool.
my sire would say otherwise, but they're also not in Boston anymore. Who is missing?
Well,
I'll give you a minor boon if you tell me.
I believe Jane has more details on that. Your notebook.
yeah, does that mean we get like 11 minor boons? Dude, there's a lot of people missing.
Shit. 1, there's 11 missing. 2, no, just 1. 1 boon.
Well, we could also just call it square.
Fine, we'll do that. Who were you checking on?
A leaf?
Her eyes flare open. Is she okay? Where is she?
Oh, she's very much not okay.
No, she doesn't. She did not. I'm very sorry to say that she did not make it out of the situation.
Deborah was holding a bottle, and she now just crushed it with her bare hand.
To be clear, she was in the same state when we entered the situation as when we left it. Well,
Yeah.
I guess as you could say, she was just as dead. Her remains are a bit... Well, I guess she was ash when we got there, and she's more ash now. I think it's just they're going to have difficulty distinguishing her from the rest of the apartment now.
She was holding a glass, as mentioned. It's shattered completely in her hand, and you can just see blood dripping down her hand right now as she's just giving you this dead eye stare. A leaf was in my coterie. I haven't seen her in 4 or 5 nights. I thought she was doing research, but oh, great. Fucking great. And then she grabs a rag nearby and just starts wrapping it around her hand.
Our condolences. Didn't want to drop the news like that. No one should get news in that manner.
Yeah, she was a good one. Very clever. Very smart. She was, and then she looks at Josephine. She was very good friends with and she doesn't finish the sentence. She just points at Josephine.
Anything stick out recently about who she was spending time with, acting differently recently before you lost track of her?
She had her notebook with her where she was doing a bunch of research on a bunch of random things, but I never really... It's a Tremere. You don't bug into their business when it comes to research. You just let them research.
At her place?
She kind of kept a lot of that private.
Here, different place.
Her place, I never once set foot in there. She never invited me in. I never went in. She was like a sister to me.
Kind of give the others like eyes of like, do we tell her what we know? And we might get more information that way.
I feel like if you're the kind of person that has regular communications with Dinah, you would end up knowing about this sooner or later anyway.
Well, she's a great many things, isn't she?
She is complex.
Even more so when she's your sire. She's a complicated lady. Lydia walks back in. Her eyes are no longer obsidian, they're back to an emerald green. She doesn't approach you at all. She stays at the bar at a distance, just kind of leaning against it. Her arms are folded.
I think.
Sorry.
Oh no, you first.
I was just going to let her know that it seems like what Elif was researching was the missing Kindred.
Do you have proof of this at all? Just not trying to butt into what you're probably doing for our wonderful prince, but mind if I see?
Jane, do you have Elif's notebook?
Sure. And Jane walks the notebook over and puts it on the bar for her.
When you do that, she still gives you that intense, kind of surprised look, and it's not dropped anytime she stares at you, Jane. Thanks.
Great.
She opens the notebook, goes to the exact page as I mentioned, which is all the list of the names of the 10 kindred missing in the past month. Yep, I haven't seen this one that date. This one hasn't been here for quite a while. Did not know that one was missing. That's actually really surprising. And then she flips the page and sees the page I mentioned that has that almost map-like corkboard thing where it's dots, lines pointing to everything, and then that name circled multiple times. And she's holding the book over a countertop. She drops the book once she turns that page. She completely drops the book and just stares at that last page and takes a step back. Oh, we're dealing with that name, are we? Great. Great.
You know something?
Potentially. I don't know if you want to know what I know. It's not pleasant.
I mean,
Why are you investigating this to begin with? I'm assuming it's something our prince is asking, but there is any particular reason?
The prince pulled us out of a regular work night and sent us on this little quest.
Okay. Lydia, get over here. And Lydia's been kind of staunchly leaning up like this, and just you can hear her huff out loud, like, fine. And she moves closer. Deborah just looks at all of you. I think our prince is holding information from you, just to be honest. We've heard of a Mr. Scratch for a little bit. We've kind of been told we've been assuming it's kind of like a boogeyman story. Just kind of keep us in line. I know our prince has heard of the name. They just chose not to talk about it. But that name has been something that's been going around for a little bit, and it's unsettling anytime we hear it, because it seems to be associated with any time someone goes missing in our city. And she points to the notebook. The past month is not the only time people have been missing. Before that, there was at least one other person this year before the past month that's been missing. And then last year, there was one person. It started about 2 or 3 years ago. a slow random disappearance of people who they're not even that old. They're like maybe 20, 30 years into what we are, but then they just randomly up and leave or haven't been seen from. So that name has been given as this sort of thing to keep us in line a little bit, to spook us, to not do anything stupid. But clearly, if these 10 have been missing now for a month, that gives more credence to this name than I ever want to give credence to.
So it's like some kind of boogeyman, or?
It's something. We don't know what it is, but if we, our kind, are missing, that's not good. That either points to someone among us who's killing us, or someone alive is hunting us down one by one, which that's also really bad. Granted, I also haven't seen a hunter in the city in a long time.
About that. Look at Johnny.
Well, that might not be the case. In fact, there might be more of a group. Might not just be a solitary hunter. And they might be also caught in the crossfire. Who knows?
Please don't tell me you had are there hunters? Have you seen hunters?
Apparently, there's more than 5, apparently. So if there's more than 5, there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 of them. If you're really gonna be honest.
Oh, don't worry. I got 2 of them this evening, Deb. And she just looks at all of you, still a little annoyed in her face. At this point, Deborah walks towards you, Johnny. Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
One thing. All I want to do is, if you're uncomfortable with this notebook, would you mind if I took it back, please?
Please take it. I don't want to see that name. It is unsettling.
Thank you.
And again, she's still giving you this look of just like, yeah, and she's still giving you that look of just like she, both kind of intense, surprise, and a little bit of worry.
I'm just gonna give her a wink.
She turns around and goes back to the bar. I'm gonna grab something because this is all very alarming. Lydia walks right up to you, Johnny. Like, Johnny, and she pulls a phone out, and of all things, it's a fucking BlackBerry. She pulls a phone out. It's like, the prince called me to her room after I helped close the Crimson Clover. You know what you gotta do. You gotta call her.
Are you Okay.
She won't stop. And trust me, I know, because she's called my former employer many times.
He's just gonna.
Jane just puts her elbows on the bar, the counter, and just smiles and stares at Johnny.
And
that's when Lydia again looks at you, Roisin, and just gives you this kind of look of just like.
Before he even calls, he's just gonna go, okay, can I just ask a question? Is there like something, do y'all need, Jane's here to be a counselor. Do y'all need counseling or something? Because what is this? What is this back and forth? What is happening here?
Everything's fine, I promise. Just, Lydia doesn't even know, doesn't finish it. She just gets frustrated with herself.
Okay, you know what? Jane, he's just gonna put a gold star on her wrist. That's for future therapy. You already know. They're couples therapy or
Thank
something.
you.
He's gonna
I'm putting it in my little notebook. I'm gonna hold it close to my heart.
He's gonna dial Fiorenza after that. Just go like, oh my god.
The phone rings for like 2 or 3 seconds. Goes on for like 5 seconds this time. And then it finally stops ringing. And you hear... Has Johnny heard Fiorenza before?
Yes, a couple of times. And it's never a pleasant experience. It ranges from... Yeah, it's just always bad. I'm going to get to that in a second, because I'm going to just go with something else first. We will get to that. Lydia just again, Roisin just gives you this look and just kind of starts to walk away. So if you want to grab her for a second, you can totally do that.
Yeah, like I won't hold her back, but I'll like walk, like catch up with her and like kind of take her by the elbow and pull her over towards like the bar where we can have a bit of a private
What?
conversation.
What do you want?
What? What is your problem?
What's your problem? Are you looking for a death wish? Are you trying to die in a situation like that?
Oh,
Do you not care that others care what would happen to you? Like, hello.
I can see very clearly that you're upset with me. It sounds like you're mad at the wrong person. I was there doing what the prince asked me to do. My whole night has been pretty fucked up, and
I just do not want you in harm's way like that. I've
can
actually been
understand
following you guys for a little bit longer than you realize. I was told to buy Hazel because I got called to her place after the Crimson Clover closed to check up on all of you. And then I saw those two fuckers walk in the building. I even saw them getting prepped with ammunition outside before they walked in. I'm just saying, you're lucky I was there in time, but also, and she just immediately kind of drops that furious look and just kind of slumps for a second. It's like, just don't hurt yourself over what the prince needs you to do. I don't think I could handle that.
I appreciate you looking out. What I don't appreciate is you thinking that I can't take care of myself. And then I'll turn around and go back to the group.
She grabs you for a second. It's like, I know you can take care of yourself. Just know you don't have to do it alone. And she lets go. Johnny. All of you are sitting around Johnny. Johnny has, again, fucking BlackBerry. In this day and age, ridiculous, but they still make them. Just a fun fact. Phone rings as Roisin and Lydia have a moment, but you hear it stop ringing. And you never get used to this voice. It is always, as you just said, it's always unsettling. Ah, Mr. Angel, nice of you to finally call me back.
Apologies. We've been busy with business and other official duties.
Are you alone?
Unfortunately, you caught me at a bad time. I can't get alone.
Put me on speakerphone. No secrets are necessary. I want everyone in the room to hear this.
Great, will do. And he just kind of does like a crossing motion that has only been reserved for Aiden and Jane, and then puts it on speaker.
All of you see Johnny do that, and it's just this weird moment of like, no, he was, and then you hear a voice that just pierces the room, and both Josephine, Lydia, and Deborah all look at the phone now intently, and they stop anything they were doing. Good evening. Please, if you don't mind, I'd like to know who exactly I'm addressing in the room with Mr. Angel. Don't be shy. I guarantee I most likely already know who you are anyways. And you hear Deborah go, Deborah Knight, Toreador, child of the Seneschal of New York City. Lydia Cook, deputy to Prince Hazel Iverson, La Sombra. Josephine Moreau Tremere. And the three of them look at you to do the exact same.
Miss Jane Dewey, Malkavian, very nice to meet you.
Sorry.
Roisin Lynch, Toreador.
I'm Aiden. Tremere.
Is she really gonna make me do this? Jonathan Angel Ventru.
That's a good boy. I know all of you are doing a job for your lovely Prince of Boston. I would like to help you out. And in return, Mr. Angel, I have a proposition for you. If you're willing to take my call, that is. You're not too busy, are you?
You know, this seems to trump whatever I was doing, so I will take your call.
I'm going to assume, as dear Lydia is the one whose phone you're probably using, that my man is not with you.
Currently has a bullet lodged in his head. He won't be coming back to anyone.
Well, it's so difficult finding good help these days. Sometimes people are expendable. I know what you're investigating. I would like to help you. I need to know what you know and what you have found. And then from there, you might be surprised at what information I have all the way from my lovely abode here in Mexico.
My assistant, Miss Dewey, can inform you on the details.
Miss Dewey, please speak. Make it prompt.
I'm totally getting you back for this. Yes, madam. What exactly would you like to know?
Leave out no details.
This evening, the Prince of Boston requested that I and my
You can speed
compatriots-
past that. I want to know more about what you found within the past hour.
bodies, dead, in a room. One of them was a Tremere, a leaf, practically dusted. There was blood on the walls that said, "Don't worry, be happy." And there were two other individuals who were on the floor who appeared to have possibly been hunters. We're not quite sure, but they did have two guns with incendiary rounds with them.
When you say that, you look at Deb and her eyes flare open as you hear the subtlest of hints when you say hunter. Ah, yes, we've had reports. I bet your prince has chosen to leave information out, as she so does. We've had
I'm
reports
sure it was
for a
only
while.
because of her wisdom. Absolutely.
That is a wonderful, debatable topic, Miss Dewey. We've known there are hunters in the city for a bit due to this particular situation you are investigating.
Do you know Mr. Scratch?
Silence for 10 seconds straight.
Jane grins at Johnny.
I have heard reports of a Mr. Scratch, as it were.
We believe that this individual might be involved with what's going on.
While I appreciate the info, also remember common courtesy is a nice thing to do on the phone, Miss Dewey. Interruptions are not particularly the best thing to do. Mr. Scratch is a situation I have discussed with the prince who brought it up to me about a couple of months ago, if you want to put it that way. We don't know who or what they are. However, we don't believe they are mortal. We believe they are very much one of us. I don't know what clan they are. I don't know their motivation. I would like the situation dealt with because any weakness found in the tower is a problem that needs to be addressed immediately. Have I made myself clear?
Crystal.
If you need some suggestions, as it were, on where you might want to check, your lovely prince has information that they've most likely not told you because they are a wonderful pain in the ass, as it were, to our clan. Go to the North End, check on what I believe still is the haven for your lovely Nosferatu clan brothers. Check underground. See what you find. When Roisin grimaces like that, do you make a noise at all, going like, ugh?
Less of a and more of just like
I'm going to say that gets picked up on the phone. It's like, Miss Lynch, you need to get your hands dirty. I get it. A wonderful rose such as yourself doesn't want that, especially with your lovely club I've heard so much about. But for your wonderful prince, you should do what I say and what they say. Plus, if you help them out, all of you will be given a nice boon from me. And my boons carry far more weight than Miss Iverson's. I know Lydia knows that quite well, and Lydia just immediately stops looking at the phone and turns around and walks to the counter. If there's anything else, this call is over unless you have questions.
I think we have everything.
If I call you again, Mr. Angel, pick up your damn phone. She hangs up.
Ooh, well, that's not the conversation I thought we were going to have, but that's even better. I think this might have been a saving grace for myself and all of us here.
I just want you to know too, Johnny, that I irritated her just for you. That was paybacks.
I appreciate that.
Lydia, Deborah gives you this look, Jan, of just like, I can't believe you just did that, and walks away. And Lydia comes back, just looks at all of you. Just stay here tonight. It's almost like we're nearing 5 o'clock. Don't even try going back to your ravens. We have space. No, we have space downstairs. They're nice accommodations. Just stay for now. It's a little too late to start running around trying to get back to where you're supposed to stay. Trust me. Just do this, please, for me. And she's looking at you, Roisin, especially when she says that.
It's going to kill me to wear the same outfit 2 nights in a row, but I suppose it's the least I can do.
Johnny,
I mean, we can swap.
Johnny opens the bag and he just pulls out another section of the bag, and it's her her favorite going out and doing work outfit. Puts that down. There's like a comfortable pair of shoes that are like Roisin type of comfortable. Puts that down. I already knew something like this was probably gonna happen. I told you I got you. The box, the bag, I got you.
Johnny, loving you is so easy.
And Lydia leans in, and it's like, also there's a private bedroom if you so choose. And just gives you a wink and walks off downstairs. And with that, let's take our break. We'll see you when we get back, everyone. Welcome back. This is where I'm curious how you're going to react to what I say. All of you go to sleep. You also took some advice that you were given before you went to bed for the morning, as it were, from Deb and Lydia. Lay the hell low. Don't do anything for like maybe a day or two. Just try to recoup. 2 days have passed. In the process of it being 2 days that have passed, we have something to take care of. And part of that is just your GM just kind of wants to make this happen. Give me 2 rouse checks, and I want to know what your hunger level's at, because it's been 2 days.
Do I regain my spent superficial willpower?
Any willpower that was spent, you all regain it. It is at max.
Awesome.
And I would say you're all at the Crimson Clover too, if you so choose, because it's been 2 days. But I want to know what you get with 2 rouse checks if you fail on any of those 2.
Pass one, fail the other.
You are at hunger 2.
Same.
Hunger 2.
I'm golden, but I'm at hunger 1 from previous.
Yep. Roisin.
10 and a 1.
So hunger 2. Okay. So 2, 2, 2, and then 1 for Miss Dewey.
It also occurs to me I probably should have rolled rouse when I did my electricity stuff back at the house.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you actually don't mind rolling again.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I failed.
You're at hunger 3. You can keep that in mind. Passage of time, you're not at the Sinclair anymore. You are, I wouldn't say you have been able to go back to your own havens, but you've all met up at the Crimson Clover. If there is anything you want to take care of at the Crimson Clover, by all means, say your
There's
piece.
a certain bottle that has been sitting in the back dumpster,
yeah.
apparently.
Thankfully, trash has not been picked up. No one's noticed it. So there is a bottle back there that, once again, to make this so interesting, as someone
God.
kind of said something similar. It says, hey, no, to the king on the bottle. Yeah. And again, just to go back a little bit, when you did leave the Sinclair that after that night, Deborah just gave you this same look of just like, huh. Never thought, huh. But as you left, to make things interesting, all of you would have heard her going off about her rehearsing some random line, talking about some show that's like a podcast called The Deb of Night, and then you walked away. You're all at the Crimson Clover.
That
Do
Deb?
you-
I know Deb.
Oh, Deborah
Maybe.
Knight. The Deb of Night.
We
Yeah.
can, yep. Roisin knows a couple things that are more yeah. That expression gives me so much wonderfulness. You're all at the Crimson Clover. You have been told by Fiorenza there might be some information you can find in the North End, but you gotta go underground to get there. It's something to do with potentially the Nosferatu in the city, who have been unusually quiet. But I'm going to say you're at the Crimson Clover. If there's anything you want to grab or do before that, by all means.
I do want to note that the only clan that doesn't have a missing member is the Nosferatu.
Yep, and that is noted in that notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Jane, John is gonna ask, Jane, do you know how to use a firearm?
Do I know how to use a firearm?
Yes.
No.
Know how to use a blade?
No. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna look at my sheet real quick just in case. No.
Okay. All right, this is going to be difficult. Okay. He's just gonna look around. Greg?
Yeah, boss. What you need? Did you finally call her, by the way? She
Yes.
called 2 nights ago. Okay, thank God.
Yeah, that's already been taken care
She
of.
scares the hell out of me. I never wanted. She scares me.
I know she scares. She scares all of us. No, I need the thing. You know that. Okay, you remember when you were playing that video game, the one where you can 3D print a gun?
Oh yeah. It's a fun game.
Yeah, you made one, and I was just like, please do not get caught
Oh yeah.
by it. I need that. I need the nail gun thing.
1 second, boss. He walks away, and then he doesn't hand it to you as is. He hands you a box. It's like, it's in here. I figured keep it. Don't scare the people away.
No, I got you. I got you. It's not for me.
Just be careful with it. It's the only one I have. That was a long print.
I'll fund your next experiment, invention, whatever. I no bombs. No, that's how we ended up in the situation in New York.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. And he just hands Shane the box. Okay. This is both part of your boon, but also part of your Johnny trusts you and you're passing your class with difficult marks, but you pass. And he just lifts up the box, and it's it looks like a Nerf gun, but if you actually look at it, you just notice there's like nails in it instead of actual bullets. This is a nail gun.
All right.
Do not point it at yourself or anyone else unless you plan on shooting.
Well, if I point at myself, I'm pretty sure I'll live. But I appreciate this generous gift. I feel like in it you have shown your pride in me, which makes me very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Do not shoot Aiden with it as a joke.
I'm not gonna shoot him. Why would I shoot Aiden with it?
I don't know. Something about that statement just like alarm bells. I don't know why.
Well, I'm pretty sure he'd live too, but I'm not gonna do it.
Or in the club, unless it's an emergency, because if you get holes in the club, I won't kill you, Ro will. And she will turn you into like her new makeup line.
I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. You don't have to worry, boss. I got it.
All right. Also, I just want to say thanks about Fiorenza and also about Eric.
You know, anytime that you want to talk, I am here to listen and to not tell anybody else.
Okay. Also, although we're about around the same age, you don't have to offer a boon every time you interact with one of us.
No. It was just because I didn't want her to be mad. Because you can't, okay, so here's the thing that I am finding mildly frustrating is that everyone seems very irritated. And they seem very irritated for having fantastic lives. They have clubs, they have beautiful surroundings, they have these amazing bars, they have people, fawning all over them, and they're all pissed off all the time. And I'm sort of like, have you looked around? Do you see how you live? So.
That's more than fair, actually. He's just gonna do something uncharacteristic. He's just gonna give her a slight hug and just gonna go, I want you to
it's so awkward. It's like
yeah, towering. Yeah. But he's just gonna go, I want you to keep that, but also at the same time, the more you stick with us, the more you realize why they're so irritable.
Yeah, but I just feel like I don't know. I just have an opinion about it. And so I figure if we hand a boon to everyone we interact with, they can't be that mad about anything we might say or do. I mean,
2 steps forward, but 4 steps back with that one. I like where the mind is, like where you're going with that, but you don't have to give everyone a boon. In fact, you shouldn't give everyone a boon.
At that moment, Lydia walks in and notices you're both, like, you gave Shane a hug, and she just looks at it like, well, that's not something I ever thought I'd see.
And you will
Interesting.
never mention it to anyone ever again. You are under NDA here.
I solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
She thinks I'm joking.
Oh, I know you're not joking.
I can cock block you now.
I'd like to see you try. And
All
that's
right.
when you notice the room gets very, very dark as shadows crouch in.
You think I
Would
have
you like
dealt
to
with them
gamble that,
before?
Johnny?
I'm currently engaged with someone that does the same trick, so therefore, I'm used to that.
She lets go. It's like, okay, you know what? Eric's a dick, so never mind. You have it far worse. And she just walks away to wherever Roisin is.
Let's go find Ro.
In the office doing payroll. That's why I'm annoyed.
And that's why Lydia opens the door for a second, sees that, and immediately shuts the door.
Could I be inside with you, asking you questions while you're trying to do payroll?
I say 100%, but I'm going to leave that up to
Yes.
Roisin.
So I'm not kleptomaniac. I have things I need to pay, so I need to. That's why I'm gone so often. So I know we're doing this thing for the politics reasons, but like I do need to. I'm kind of due to get something to sell. You know, all I'm asking is just like a night or two, case of joint. I don't know. Do you know anyone who has something shiny they won't miss, or I don't know, a car I can steal, or
I'm going to meet you halfway on this. I will give you a few nights to go out and take care of your business, but I'm not going to betray the confidence and trust and tell you which of my friends and acquaintances have valuables worth stealing. I think I don't really need to explain why on that.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. I just want to, I don't want you and Johnny to come kicking down my apartment door when you're wondering where the heck I've been. So.
Oh, I just want you to tell me, like, when you don't technically work for the club, so I'm not going to ask you to put in for PTO or anything like that. I need you to kind of tell me / ask for permission just to make sure that, like, to make sure that I don't need you for something else. You can do other stuff. And I just also need to know that you're not going to be doing anything that could breach the masquerade. Like nothing big, because then I need to be concerned.
Also, like, when does this probation stuff end? Like, not that I don't love you as a babysitter, cross my heart, but I'm not really used to like this whole weird, like, it. Don't get me wrong. Operating solo, I'm fine with it. It's what I'm used to. It's what I'm good at. It is nice to have people to watch my back. It is nice that I can count on Johnny to fuck shit up if he gets upset. And Jane is a library's worth of knowledge, and most of it I don't need, but some of it is useful. And you're scary, and everything that entails. But at the same time, like you said, I'm not on the payroll, so I guess if we have to stick together, when do I make that jump from probation to payroll? Or when does that whole situation settle itself?
If you want to be actually paid, you would have to put in hours at the club. In terms of just stop being my problem.
Wait, you mean like washing dishes?
Washing dishes, you're very technical. Like if you wanted to talk to Johnny about helping out with security, if he will tolerate that.
I could get paid for breaking into security?
Website, maybe enhancing the security we already have in terms of making the rooms more soundproof, making it easier for us to detect people trying to bug any sort of situation. But in terms like that kind of stuff, if you want to come up with a list of ideas, You and I can sit down and go over them, and we can discuss the possibility of you actually earning money here.
Aiden's nodding, but he's not mentioning the list of things he's already noted that are definitely flaws in the club security.
Keep that to yourself. Put it in a list, and we'll have a meeting.
Noted.
I have stuff to do right now, but yeah, like I said, in terms of you being your own vampire, what happens to you is kind of within your power and how you behave, but it is decided by people higher than me, unfortunately.
Could
As
I?
if out of a shadow, Lydia has entered the room somehow without coming through the front door. It's like, yeah, you got to put your dues in.
Ah!
Sorry. Not really, but yeah.
If you could try and figure out a better way to detect La Sombra and all their kind of evasiveness for our technology, that would be appreciated.
Can you do that next to a vacuum cleaner? Does that mess you up or?
No, I messed the vacuum up.
Huh.
It's really annoying.
Honestly,
a dustpan
kind
in
of
my
cool.
apartment. No, it's not. She just walks over to where you're doing paperwork and just tries to just looks at it.
Stop touching things.
I'm not touching it, I swear. And if
I'm
the
not
others want to
touching
walk
you.
into the room,
Yeah.
I'm touching you. The others want, they can walk in. Yep, the others walk in. So Johnny and Jane follows in suit.
Johnny just shakes his head like,
Hi, I'm. And actually, Lydia looks at you and she's like, "If you all are ready, I can tell you where you're going in the north end. I got the address
I whisper
directly
to
from Fiorenza, which is terrifying."
I whisper to Jane, I need to call in one of my minor boons later. Okay.
Sure. Just let me know.
How many boons are you two? And she just goes back to looking at Roisin.
What? I whispered that. That was a whisper in confidence. You should respect the whisper. I'm saying this in game, not out of game.
And she's like, I can't help supernatural hearing.
Gosh.
Shall we?
You have it just have it written down for me or something? Am I gonna have to remember it?
I can take you all there.
I was gonna say, can you text it to me?
Do you say that? And if so, she's gonna give you this look of just like, wow, really? You really want me to text it? Do you want your wonderful brand new phone to be broken that quickly by my touch?
I'm sure that's not the only thing of mine you've broken by touching it.
And that's when she backs off. It's like, you know what? I'll just meet you outside. And you don't even see her disappear out of the room. She's gone.
Ooh, go boss.
oh, that's not boss girl energy. And also,
Are we taking your second favorite driver this time, or?
Oh, Bill. I don't know. Didn't we buy a car last time?
bought
In
an
that
SUV.
time frame, Jane Dewey has bought an SUV, and it is now part of your repertoire in terms of cars.
Ooh,
Anybody want to drive? Do you guys have your licenses?
I'll
I can
drive. I can't drive, but I will.
I can drive.
No.
I have great reflexes.
I kind of trust Jane to drive.
yeah.
I feel like you would know all the rules of the road.
I
Second
do.
minor boon, let me drive.
Absolutely not. No, okay.
No,
okay. I'm teaching
you are
y'all
not
how
driving.
No.
No. This is a minor boon between me and Jane. Under the rules that you guys taught me, I'm allowed to do this.
That's not how the boons work. Not
What?
for you to legally drive.
I thought they were. Well, yeah, it's not going to be legal, but I can still do it.
Here's the thing. Breach of the masquerade comes above anything. So if you get pulled over and you don't have a license,
I'm just a guy that gets pulled over for not having a license. Like, I'm not actually dead, according to society, so I can get a ticket.
If you have to sit in a jail cell for hours,
I'm not going to. You guys have no faith in me.
well,
Gonna be
less faith
fine.
in the police, but
I only have 3 hunger, he says in a meta context.
Everybody get your shit.
Are you hangry? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I need to release the beast.
God,
Everyone get in the car.
this is why we don't give the baby vampire gold stars, because it goes to their heads.
I had nothing to do with this. This was you.
I was trying to teach them so they can be a little bit more.
I really appreciate the positive reinforcement system that we have going. So can I drive now?
Yes.
I let you know you're
alright,
not
I'll
driving
drop
because you're a good noodle. You're driving because we believe you to be the most responsible driver.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get the
Go.
weapons trunk.
You go do that.
Unless they took it from me, I would still have the incendiary pistol.
I'm gonna say you do, unless someone else says otherwise.
I
Johnny's
would have.
not taking it.
In
Nope, it's all yours.
In the 2 days though, I would have asked my fence how much I could have gotten if I sold it to him.
Ooh.
I have a contact as a fence, and my primary motivator is getting more money because debts and taking care of my folks. So I absolutely would have asked, how much money could I gotten for this?
You would have. You've asked. The messages you get back surprise you greatly, because your contact tells you, I've personally never seen something like this, but if it's what you say it is, gun alone, I'd pay 3,000 for. Ammunition, I'd pay at least 300 each.
And have a full.
This is all custom made stuff. I've never seen anything like it. That's extremely intriguing, and I have so many questions.
I tell him I'm going to sit on it for a few days, and I'll get back to him.
You don't get a response back, but yeah, the message is sent.
Yeah, it's we're professionals.
Yeah.
Courtesy.
Jane lead drives everyone, basically, just to confirm.
Yes.
Because Lydia gives you this look of like, I can't drive, the car won't let me turn it on. Modern cars are a pain in the ass. She just gets sullenly in the back seat. As you drive away, as mentioned, you were told to go to the North End. The North End is one of the oldest residential areas of the city, and technically one of the oldest in the country. Again, Boston is a city of history. The North End is literally history. Outside of Hanover Street, which has the best baked goods and desserts in the city, the main landmark you find yourself at is the Old North Church. This building has been there for centuries. It is literal Boston history. It is an icon of the North End. The statue of Paul Revere riding a horse stands right up front of it, and it stares back at you as the five of you, with Lydia in tow, stare back at it. And at this hour, because it's a new day, it's around October, right in October, and the sun sets so much earlier than it ever will any time of year. It's around 8 o'clock at night. And there's a couple people around here and there, and Lydia leads you to that exact North End church. And she starts looking around, like, I'm just trying to find where their goddamn entrance is, because it's not in the open like this. That's just too easy. And she starts walking off, and then you just see her take like a left-hand turn, like, and just points that way. Like, come on, this way. And walk to, like, just to give some flavor text for this. This isn't like normal, like, city street. This is all brick, like old laid brick that's been there for maybe 2 or 3 centuries. Like, that's like where you are is literal, like, old history. So if you're wearing heels, just making sure Roisin's probably not wearing heels, but if you are, uncomfortable as hell. But also, it's old brick. It's going to be uncomfortable no matter what shoe you're wearing. Lydia leads you down a very narrow alley. There's no one down this alley. She even takes a second to do like a quick back and forth look as she stops in front of a manhole on the ground. And she lightly crouches down and just, again, does a quick look back and forth. And then, without any effort, with one hand, she lifts the manhole up and just moves it to the side. It's like, Down we go. Who wants to go first?
I do.
She just points a hand like, see you down there. Who's next?
No, that's gonna suck. Head down next.
I will go next.
She gives you a very light pat on the back. It's like, it'll be fine, I promise.
I'll hop down and like a scuba diver, like I'm trying not to touch anything on the way down.
Yep. And then Johnny.
Grabs his little box, puts over his shoulder. Yeah, I already know. And just Superman drops down.
Sweet. And she, you all don't see this, but she sees all of you do that. She again does a quick, and she slowly moves down and grabs the manhole and just puts it right back. The lighting is not great. There are like sort of electrical lights leading through basically what is the underground system of Boston. It's just dim lighting though. Like, this isn't a situation where you're in a game where you have night vision as a natural thing. Your eyes are still adjusting to the fact that you're underground and it's just these dim electrical lights leading down different pathways. And that's when Lydia kind of doesn't pull out a flashlight or anything, because if she did, probably wouldn't work. She just starts kind of looking up on the walls. It's like, I know there should be something on the wall that tells us a direction. I just haven't done this in a while. Does anyone have a light? Like, even if it's your phone, I can't. She just holds her hands out. I can't touch that, but can you point it on the walls?
Yeah, I gotcha. Pull out my phone.
Thank you.
Couple
It's
light
such
on.
the joy that is being of the Sombra. And you point the light on the walls, and you do it slowly as she's pointing out, like, just point it here, there. And then she eventually points to one wall, and she's like, stop. And it's so small. This little bit of a scratch on the wall. It's like an arrow that had just been, like, chiseled in there, and they can't remove it. It's like, it's that way. And she just looks at all of you. It's like, let's just say someone had very long nails and probably did that, and just starts walking. Not our killer. No, a Nos. She keeps walking.
Okay.
Sorry, context.
That's reassuring. Kinda.
Following along, muttering, I'm gonna need a shower after all this.
You keep walking. Again, the lights are dim. It's not the best lighting. It's just difficult. You can make out that Lydia's in front of you. Even though she, more than all of you, very much, it's kind of difficult sometimes because she just naturally blends in with the darkness. It's just the way that she is. It's just the way that clan is. Shadows love to encroach upon them, whether they like it or not. But you're able to keep track of where Lydia is by whether you're shining a light on them or you just are able to pick them up as the dim lighting leads you forward. Eventually, though, can you all give me a wits plus awareness roll with a difficulty of just 1, as my phone rings right when I say that. Thank you, phone. That was perfect timing. And let me know what you get.
6.
You got 6. Oh my! Were any of those crits? Yes. Good job. That's awesome.
I did also get a 1 on Hunger Dice, so that's technically.
No, you're good. It is so because I never actually explained this when it did happen. Bestial failures only ever come into place where if you don't meet the success rate, but if you have a 1 but you don't meet the success rate, that's when it's a bestial failure.
Well, what about?
So even if it was something along the lines of you got a 1 and you needed 3 successes but you got 2, still a bestial failure. This you're fine because the success was literally I just needed 1. But 6 is impressive. You got 1.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, Roisin.
4 on the crit.
Ooh, crits. Any crits on the Hunger Dice?
Yes.
We'll get to that.
5 success and 2 failures.
All of you notice this when you start walking. Lydia actually does not notice it, but she realizes you all stop when you see the light hits it, and then she stops and is like, "Why are you stopping?" And then she notices the light on the ground. You're not really sure what this is. It looks of all things like a pile of ashes. Like, you are underground, like weird. There should be weird shit down here, but this just looks like an ashy mess, like of a heap. This seems out of place.
A little too dry for sewers.
Yeah. For Johnny specifically, because you said you got a messy crit, technically, if you critted on your hunger dice.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to think on that.
Oh,
we'll get back to that.
To clarify, I technically messy critted as well. I got 10 on.
Oh, I will think about that if the others want to respond at all to. There is a pile of what looks like ashes in front of you. I have things to think about.
Oh well. Jane will probably, if Johnny brought some like equipment along or something, we'll probably try to take a sample.
Yeah.
So if we have like a Ziploc bag even, or so any sort of something that's going to hold it.
Because he knows she likes to collect things. He got like a little collection box that has like sections in it. He just hands that off to her.
Okay, great. Because then, so Jane's gonna take some of the ash and put it in one of the containers.
Aiden, just because you got a messy crit, I think this is your storyteller being a little cheeky and wanting to entertain themselves a bit. You see that, and you can feel it for a second, a spark generating in your hand, but you're able to stop it quickly from doing any sort of shooting out. But the fact that that happens is a little weird, as you shouldn't be doing that. It's a little unnatural. Johnny, you just look at those ashes, and for some reason, you kind of breathe in heavily, sort of randomly, and it's just weird. You breathe in, it's something you don't really need to do anymore, and it just reeks of death. And it's the type of thing that once you do it, you're just a little unnerved by it. Especially with, you don't normally have to breathe in, but you just did that sort of out of the blue.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, just out of curiosity, has anyone seen any Nosferatu in the last, I don't know, few days, weeks?
I mean, the only one I've seen was, I think you maybe saw them at court in the tower, was Caius. He's our kind of head of security. He's not in charge of the Nos of the city. That's Jara. She's the primogen for the Nosferatu. But they've both been in the tower for days.
And no one mentioned anything about missing Kindred from their end?
I mean, the Nos kind of like to keep to themselves. I mean, not to be mean, but have you seen what they look like?
I mean, yeah, but it would be like, yo, a few of mine are missing.
Yeah, I mean, don't take my words wrong. I don't mean it that way. They're wonderful. They're wonderful to get to know. I actually like them quite a bit, but also I kind of stay out of their haven because I don't. She just points around. It's like, I don't want to be walking through this as much as any of you do.
Well, because it smelled dead, like very dead.
Oh,
What are you thinking, Johnny?
I don't know. Like, it got into my lungs, which is unusual.
Okay. Let's just be mindful, I guess. Then she starts walking forward. Lydia. As you continue to move forward through the sewers, you walk maybe another 3 or 4 minutes forward, and then again, there's another pile of this random thing in front of you. This one has a weirder thing though. You actually look at it, and on top, there looks like what was a wristwatch sitting on top of it.
Gonna take that.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. You look at it and you realize it's a fucking Rolex. Kind of gold plated.
What? Ah, damn it. It's too slow.
No, well, Jane just hands it to Aiden then. Here you go. Collects another, uses that little
Aw.
container box, collects another section.
Johnny, I think your hunch was definitely a kindred shaped hunch before.
What do you want to do, boss lady?
I'm going to have my firearm ready as well. But I'm just going to kind of look to Lydia just for the understanding of what we're possibly about to get into.
She gives you that look that you've come to know. That's just like, I don't know what's about to happen, but this is not good, and we need to be on. We need to watch our six. Just watch everything.
Should we get out?
I mean, we still have to check, like, I know that it's not even that much. It's there. It's close. We'll be there in a few minutes. But this, and she points again to that, what looks like a pile of ashes. It's just like, that's unnerving.
I have a question. The ashes, do they look like they're going in or are they coming out?
Ooh. One, they look very settled in terms of how long they've been there. Two, it's kind of hard to tell if they're recent. It's one of those things, though, where you keep looking at it and you're like, that shouldn't be down here. That's just not a natural thing you'd find in a sewer system or an underground tunnel system. Yes, Roisin.
Can I initiate or invoke a premonition?
Always a fun time with premonition. Can you give me a rouse check?
Is it one per hunger I have, or just one?
It's for hunger, yeah. You're doing a rouse check to see what your hunger's at. So, yep.
A 9 and a 3.
You're good. You only needed to roll one of them, so the 9 is fine. And then roll. Let me double check. It's Jane. I know. God, I'm trying to remember. I know it's resolve plus.
An aspects.
Yep. Roll resolve plus aspects.
So many.
Always a good thing.
We have 3 successes with 2 crits, 1 on the hunger die, and 2 1s, but not on the hunger die.
So technically, because you have 2 crits, that's 5 successes. But it's a messy crit because it's on a hunger die. So okay. Okay. You
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's more I get to think of fun ways to make that interesting that you probably won't like. You invoke a premonition. It's that same thing that happens every time. When you invoke premonition, everyone around you just goes away. Everything just kind of fades. This, though, is not a great or pleasant premonition. In fact, it's worse than the ones you've had before. You hear screaming of a very unnatural state as you look down the tunnel and you just see some like people or things running away and then immediately just falling to the floor. And you just see a figure bathed in shadow whistling a tune as they slowly drop down to their knees. And you can hear someone sinking their teeth in and just drinking heavily. And then they just get back up and they start walking towards where you're standing. And the whistling gets louder. It gets louder. And then you snap back into it. And you weirdly, for a random second, feel like you have like a beat in your chest, or like that little moment of panic creep in. And you just kind of once again have a check your cheek and it's stained again in red. As the others all see that, once again, your cheek is just slightly dripping. And Lydia's now looking at you horrified, like, what the fuck was that?
I think whoever did this. Remember when they said they don't think Mr. Scratch or whoever's doing the disappearing is mortal?
Yeah.
I think they're drinking Kindred.
Oh, diablerie. Oh, fuck me. And that's not good. That would also explain why maybe a bunch of them who have been missing or have not been found. Fuck. And she just walks.
Found them.
Yeah.
How bad is this?
Do you know what diablerie is, Aiden?
I'm familiar. Like, yeah, you. If I remember, it's like what you do to people when you like finish them off, but it's to our kind, right?
Yeah, and if you drink them fully dry, if they're older than you, you can sometimes get you can get their powers, you can get stronger, you can be far more powerful than anything you'd been before. But also, if you drink them dry, usually there's no remains to really look at. It's just dust to dust.
Huh.
Yeah. She starts pacing back and forth.
Well, knowing that, do we really think that the 5 of us are strong enough to be down here versus like possibly somebody who's drunk a dozen other kindred, or do we believe they've moved on?
Nate, can I do a roll for?
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, so I'd like to do like a investigation using deduction, and I'd like to try to figure out. You were talking about the ashes being settled, and trying to figure out from any of the clues, the smell or anything, like how many nights it's been since this has happened.
Ooh. I love how you always ask for the most interesting roles I've ever been asked in Vampire, so I'm going to say yes, please do that. It always makes me happy. I love that. Do it by all means.
So, do you think intelligence or wits? Which one?
I'm going to go with intelligence. As much as wits would be very much intuition in the moment of this, I think intelligence makes more sense because you're probably going to take some time while they're talking to do this.
Yeah. Okay. 4 successes with 1 crit.
Is any crit on your hunger die?
No, that's just a regular success.
Okay. Remind me what you wanted to do again, just so I can.
Just
I know you said it, but
out, like, it's like a time period. So if are we visiting what is essentially a crime scene 4 days later?
The way you're able to look at it and the way things have been settled, You also notice there's a bit of dust around the ashes. It's been a few days. If I had to guess, maybe 2 or 3 days at most, maybe 4. It's not that heavy dust, but it's enough where you put your hand down and you can just see a very thin bit of it.
And also, in the seduction, are we seeing any rats, critters, bugs, anything?
Quiet as can be. You are the only ones in this area.
Okay.
I will say, because you have heightened senses.
I don't
You're
have it right
hearing-
now. I don't have it right
true.
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do not. I forgot. Thank you. Touche. Thank you for the reminder. We will.
Okay.
I remembered. Thank you. But yes, you do that, and it's just like this has been a few days, not many days, but just a few days.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, just so you guys know, at least it would appear as if the danger is currently past. Whoever, whatever did this is probably no longer here. So this might be the ideal opportunity to actually learn something, because I don't have a sense that we're in danger right now.
Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna keep walking forward if you all want to follow me. All right. Lydia walks forward. Another 3-4 minutes go by. She takes like a right, takes a left. She takes another right. And then when she does, you come across a door that, when you look at it, thing's made of like some form of metal. Like this thing is, if you're gonna break it, you gotta be goddamn strong to try and break this. She's looking at it though and realizes that it's not on its hinges. The metal door is off its hinges, has been thrown to the floor completely. And she's just kind of looking at it awestruck, like, that's an insane amount of strength to be able to do something like that. Okay. And just steps over the door that's lying on the ground and walks in.
Following her in.
When you all walk in, you see kind of an open living space of sorts. It's actually kind of not bad. It's got nice furniture, which is kind of impressive because it makes you wonder, how the hell did they get furniture down here? Like, that's just how do you do that? Is it like some form of IKEA building? Who knows? You look around though, and then all those ashes you saw outside, there's 5 different ash piles on the ground here. And once again, you look on the wall, and there's another message written in blood. However, this one's different. This one doesn't make a lot of sense. This one's kind of weird because it also triggers something that was kind of said 2 nights ago to Jane. On the wall, it says, "Hail to the King." And that's when you hear someone shouting, "Please let me out of this goddamn cage."
Okay, I'm gonna go follow the screaming person that is in the cage.
Also curious.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you hear that, but you're not really like, it's not in the main room. And then you realize there's another door that's slightly been open. And you point a light in, and you literally see there is a cage with a woman inside. They have on a sort of pastel sweater of sorts, jeans. Can't quite tell if they are, of all things, this would make Roisin probably go into a frenzy. Can't quite tell if they're Ugg boots or actually leather boots. Yeah.
Rolled the frenzy.
Yeah, the lighting you have with your phone makes it a little difficult. They have light brown skin, they have dark hair, and how to explain this? Sometimes the best answer is the most direct. Jane and Aiden, you look in. On their forehead, weeping vitae, is a third eye. A perfectly symmetrical third eye. And because it's weeping vitae, it's for Aiden's sake, because you're at hunger 3, can you please give me a hunger resist? Roll your willpower.
Absolutely. Thankfully,
That's
I
a
recovered
difficulty
it
of
all.
2. And you can't re-roll willpower, remember that. But yeah, it's a difficulty of 2.
We got 3.
For this second, there is like a brief second where you see that and you breathe in. It is the most divine smell you have ever smelled in terms of blood. It is intoxicating. You have a second where you kind of want to run forward and literally rip the bars out, but then you realize, like, don't do that. That's stupid. Why would I ever do that? And you retain yourself. But the fact that that just happened creeps you the fuck out.
Ugh. Why did I want to crack?
And
it
again,
like an egg?
if Roisin and Johnny follow suit, as does Lydia, you see someone in a cage, and again, perfectly symmetrical, there is a third eye weeping blood. Please let me out of here, for the love of God. I don't belong in here. I want to get the hell out, please.
Lady, there's a woman trapped in a cage with a third eye. The fuck?
What's weird about a third eye? Come on, just let me out, please.
Did
Who
you
are
just say
you?
what's weird about third eye?
My name's Claire. I don't really know where I am. Can I please get out of this cage, please?
Is
What's
there
the
like a
protocol?
visible walk? Is there like a visible lock somewhere?
The door has like a handle with like a keyhole in it that's clearly like she's probably been trying to get out of it, but it's just she doesn't have the strength to do anything about it. It's
Aiden,
like,
did you
please,
bring your lock picking skills?
Oh, always. And also the lockpicks.
Johnny's gonna try to just rip open the
I'm sorry.
lock.
I was gonna rip open the lock. Do you do that? Do you let
Yeah.
Aiden do it, or do you just rip open the lock?
He's just gonna look at Aiden for a second, like, wait a minute. If I open this, are you gonna do something weird?
What? I'm a little hungry, but it passed. It's fine. What? No, I'm serious. It's fine. You can go ahead. Jack in the box it.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
All right.
Bro,
Do you rip
if
the
he
lock
does-
off?
Yeah, he rips the lock off. Ro, if he does something, catch him.
No roll is necessary because, in my opinion, you have enough dots to just do that without any sort of roll. You look at the lock, grab hold of it, and you just fling the door like it was made of paper. Which I'm not sure if the others have ever seen you do that before, but you all just saw him open that door like it was nothing. And this person who, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, the vapors. The person with the third eye, they stop freaking out. They're like, oh my God, thank you. Oh, I don't. And then they kind of walk out, and then they just kind of, their legs buckle, and they just slump to the floor. And you're like, does anyone have a handkerchief or something so I can stop this weeping, please?
Is there a way to tell if this person is kindred or human?
When she opens her mouth, you see 2 pristine canines
Okay.
staring back at you.
Always good to check.
Please, like a napkin or something. I don't want it on my shirt.
Here, I got my midterm back. You can hand her some copy paper.
Not okay. Really, no one has. Okay, fine.
I
And
have
she
a
just does.
handkerchief for my premonitions.
Lydia, by the way, is standing behind you, and she has this type of gaze you've just never seen before. She's looking at this person, and you see her do something very uncharacteristic. She licks her teeth.
Can I insight that?
On Lydia?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, go ahead. Do that. Do that. Wits
Insight
plus
and-
insight.
Wits?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, wits plus insight.
All right, difficulty.
Let me know how many successes you get.
Okay, scaling.
We'll do it that way.
Aha. Oh, great. Fun. I got 6 successes with another messy critical.
Okay. Lydia, you look at Lydia and you know that look. And that look is that of someone who's looking at dinner right in front of their eyes. And the funny thing is, you look at Lydia, and then you hear that voice in the back of your head going, you could do the same thing, just take a nice little nibble off the top.
Oh yeah, we could
'Cause
split
she
it.
looks delicious.
Go halvesies.
And then Lydia notices you're looking at her, as does Roisin, and she stops doing it. It's like, sorry.
No. Are you sure?
I-
Like we could go halvesies.
Leave the poor girl alone. I don't even think she realizes anything.
Wait, did they just say this out loud?
Do you say that out loud? Because I was going with it, you saying out loud.
If you were saying it out loud, then I would say it.
Yeah.
Saying it out loud.
Yeah, they say that out loud. It's like, yeah,
right now, I feel like I'm seized by the beast a little bit. It's like,
to which now this person just realizes what's said out loud, and they kind of go back towards the cage. Like,
I think Jane at this point is going to take this young woman and usher her back into the other room, or like out of this room and into that other section.
and she gladly just takes your arm. It's like, oh my god, you're so nice. Thank you. She's looking at Lydia like, I don't want to be anywhere near her. Same thing with Aiden a little bit, but she's also like,
no, come to Team LA.
Claire, how long have you been here? Do you know?
I have no idea what day it is, but I swear I've been here for at least over a week, maybe longer.
Did you happen to hear anything in that time?
I heard all this screaming, and I have no idea what happened because they never came in this room, but I heard someone mention they were a knight of something, like a knight of the round table. And they're ensuring that the rightful ruler is the one true king of Boston, or it's something like that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So, do you have a family of sorts? Do you have a group that we can get you back to?
I just go to school at Harvard. I mean, I've only, and she points to her forehead, I've only been like this for a few months. Are you, and she's pointing at her teeth, like very childishly, are you like me?
Yeah.
Thank God. At the same time, she also kind of leans back a bit. It's like, you're not gonna hurt me, are you?
No, no, you're fine. I promise. You're good. I'm here to help you.
As
where
Jane is
can I
talking
get
to
you?
this person. Yeah, as you were asking these things, can the others make a wits plus investigation roll? Can I just, God, I could use a real drink right now. And you see her buckle over for a second, like, yeah, it's been a few nights and I've not really had anything to drink. And that's when, Jane, you look around for a second, because you don't have to roll for this. It's kind of obvious. You see a blood bag on the table nearby.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will go and get it for her.
She easily grabs it, and just doesn't even have any consideration, just sinks her teeth into it and starts drinking from it. It's like, that's good. How many did you get roll-wise?
3 successes with a possible bestial failure, if it does fail.
Nope, you succeed. You're good. Though it's always tempting, to be honest. The others, what did you roll to? So I'm going to say Roisin and Johnny, you all can do the same roll, wits plus investigation.
I got only 1 success, but I got 1 crit on my hunger die.
Okay. Johnny?
3 successes.
Roisin, you're distracted because you've never, ever in your life heard of a kindred with 3 eyes. This is just, at the same time, it's also that weird thing where your Toreador brain's kind of going like, it's perfectly symmetrical. How the fuck is that possible? So it's this weird thing of like, it's beautiful, but also I'm unnerved by this. This is weird. Aiden and Johnny, you actually look around the room and you kind of find something interesting, which is on a wall opposite where Jane is talking to Claire, there's a map. And the map is not of Boston, it's of a place called the Harvard Art Museum. It's kind of like a layout blueprint. And then you look down below it and realize there are documents talking about a party that's going to happen tomorrow night. And you realize, you remember when you were in the prince's chambers, the prince mentioned, I have an Elysium coming up very soon with guests coming from out of town. So I want this situation dealt with. And that rings heavy in your head as you start piecing it all together, that whoever the Nos were down here, they had blueprints for this building, and they were probably either hired security to make sure the perimeter was secure underground, or maybe they weren't. But the fact that those documents are there, probably not a good thing, that someone might have come across them.
With my breaking and entering experience, can I make like a judgment whether they were planning on infiltrating or were they probably security?
No roll necessary. You can tell that this is clear as day, just a security detail securing the underground, but also they had blueprints for above ground just in case.
I'll tell you what, Johnny, these Nos know their stuff. I mean, they've covered pretty much most of the main points here. Underground, above, verification, authentication.
Great. All right.
Though if they're all dead, then I'm not sure how much of this is useful.
That means I'm gonna have to do a thing. He's gonna take out the other phone and he's gonna dial a certain Ventru he would definitely not like to talk to. Well, he's gonna dial for the tower to get to that Ventru to get to Hazel.
We definitely get service in the sewers, the Nos sewers. They got.
You actually, thank you for pointing that out. You look at your phone, you don't have service down here.
What? The Nos don't have a setup down here for full bars?
No,
No wonder
service
they
is
died.
actually, nope. The other thing is you also are looking at Lydia and realizing, like, for fuck's sake.
These Nos suck. No wonder they got killed. No service down here. No exit plan.
Johnny, that's probably my fault. I'm sorry. Tech acts weird around me.
Oh, dead zone.
Yeah, I'm kind of a dead zone. I'm sorry. The fact that it actually didn't happen like 2 nights ago, that was actually kind of impressive. I'm proud of myself.
It might be because we're both underground and you're right here. It's a little too much for the phone.
And for Jane, Claire just looks at you and is just, again, you're looking at this person's face, and again, there's a third fucking eye staring at you. And what's kind of creepy about it is it's moving of its own ways rather than the two normal eyes. It's moving independently. And she's looking at you with her 2 eyes. The third eye's looking at the others as they walk around the room, taking things in.
Yeah, but I've seen some shit. So
Yeah, that's true. But just so you know, you're fine. Can I please? I don't really want to be down here anymore. Can I please leave? Especially
Yes,
as
let's go.
you notice there's also a notebook that she pulls out of her pockets, like especially as you're probably lovely people, but I was kind of told not to interact with others of our kind.
By whom?
By my sire.
Who's your sire?
Their name was Hope.
Oh, are they not here anymore?
They're not, yeah. Not, and she's looking at all of you like, not this, different situation.
Okay.
Elephant in the room. Bigger elephant. Big one, other than they just got killed. Why were you in a cage and then they didn't come and exit you out of existence? And also, why were you in the cage?
She looks at Aiden, who almost lunged at the cage for a second when they first discovered her. I shouldn't do this, but she looks around, finds a knife, and just pierces her skin. It's like, as weird as this sounds, breathe. Just breathe in. All of you. And if you all breathe in, it smells so fucking good. Like, you've never smelled anything blood-wise or vitae-wise that matches this by a mile. It smells like ambrosia. It smells like the best whiskey you've ever had in your life. It smells like the best thing you could have ever experienced when you were alive. I think it's something to do with that, but I don't understand it either. They were having me as a snack here and there down here.
Yikes. Okay.
My sire told me that my kind is not really appreciated, but also we're kind of hunted because of this.
Sorry, your kind being.
She just points to the eye. Where's my book? She literally pulls out a tiny notebook and is flipping through it, like something called a salubri or something. I have no idea. I've only been like this for like maybe 6 months. I'm just a student at Harvard. I have no fucking clue what's going on, other than I can't go out during the day anymore. But also, my thing says not to go anywhere near something called a camarilla, because apparently that's bad.
Sure. Yeah, no, that would be very bad.
So, do you know you're a vampire?
I mean, I kind of figured that when my sire told me that. I mean, I just said sire too,
Okay.
so.
I'm just trying to figure out.
But in
where
terms
we
of like
are.
the greater world, I mean, I know stuff in books and TV. I didn't think that was real.
Surprise. Yeah. Okay. Well, where would you like to go? Do you have a place that you need to go?
I just want to go back to my apartment and not be seen again.
Speaking of seen and being seen, did you see what happened here?
I briefly saw it from the doorway as it was open. There was some figure. They weren't a Nosferatu. They were dressed kind of nice. They had like a nice coat. And all I could hear again was that they were some kind of... This makes no sense to me. Like, what the fuck is a Knight of the Round Table?
But did you like see a face?
I didn't see a face, no. They didn't come in the room. I like found darkest corner and just tried to hide as small as possible.
Did you see this knight actually have a conversation with anybody?
I just heard him say he wants to put the rightful ruler of Boston back on the throne. I don't even know what that means.
And then proceeded to attack everyone?
Apparently.
Apparently.
I did hear like paperwork getting shuffled around after all the loud noises stopped, so I don't know if they grabbed stuff or not, but it kind of looked like they were here for something.
Did they come into this room with the map and the security details?
I mean, again, I couldn't really see the room well, but I would assume this is where everything happened. And that's when she notices the piles of ash. It's like, yep, this is clearly the room they were in. Oh my God. And they just do that thing of like,
Well, okay, so you believe that this knight attacked the individuals who were down here?
Yes, because all I heard was screaming as they were all running away. Whatever that thing was, it was much had better power than they did.
So you don't think it's like this knight was like an unfortunate bystander with ill timing and something else came?
No, this seems like someone was here on a purpose and they knew where to go.
A quest of some sort, probably?
Give you a weird look. Sure, quest. Interesting use of word, but yeah.
Well, Knight of a Round Table quest.
Yeah, touche. Is there anything else you need? I'd like to just get out of here.
No, but can I give you a ride?
As long as and she points to Lydia, who's staring intensely, as long as she stops looking at me like that. Not a
Jane,
snack.
We'll look at Roisin. Is there something that you could maybe
Huh. I don't know what I could do to fix her. I can.
I mean, she's your friend, so.
Lydia leans into you, Roisin, and whispers in your ear, "This is not the first time I've seen one of them."
In what other context? In what other context have you seen one?
There was one a year ago in Harvard, not this one, but I've seen one of them before. They are a massive problem. Basically, our domain doesn't like them in the city. I don't know why, I just know that they're a problem and they're told to leave once they enter. Also, they are, and she looks at you extremely embarrassed. I've had a taste of their blood before. They're quite delicious. She looks at her and she's like, "I'm sorry. I can't help it."
Fucking. So, what will happen to her if we just let her go?
I mean, I hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. If she wants to leave, I won't report a damn thing. Because she clearly has no idea what's going on, so.
I just worry that she gets out, she ends up eventually in the hands of the Camarilla, and then they find out what she knows, or she.
If needed, I can work something out where that doesn't happen. I can try.
They can erase us from her memory?
That too.
I mean,
I can't do that. I know some people who can, but I can't.
I could.
Claire just looks at you like, "Wait, what are you all talking about?" Like, just that you.
Nothing. Oh, just all the varying ways we could save your life.
I mean, I appreciate that.
You wanted to go back to your apartment. Can we just go back to your apartment?
Let's do that. I want to get the hell out of here. And they immediately try to stand up and start walking. For Roshin's sake, again, those boots are hideous. The ones she's wearing.
Johnny's just gonna
Her
go.
eye is beautiful to look at, even though it's unnerving, but those boots are just, ugh.
All right, girlie, just jump on. Don't pull on the hood though, please. I just got this hoodie.
Sounds good. I promise not to.
So I'm going to suggest we get back in the car. We take Claire to her apartment and decide what to do with Claire's situation away from the scene of the mass murder.
Yeah, we're 0 for 2 for checking up on people right now.
I'll take some pictures with my phone before we head out.
I'll take more samples too.
They stare hungrily at our new friend.
She looks at you, just like, she walks away from you and kind of tries to put Jane in between you two. Jane. Does the word night ring anything for Jane, just out of specifics?
Oh yeah. Just keep her mouth shut.
It's when you internalize more than ever before, and the others notice you get kind of quiet about it. But this is when you have a personal moment where everyone kind of fades away around you. And it's not like you see a literal night, but you kind of see a figure that's both familiar and not familiar. And it just repeatedly in your head just keeps saying, "Hail to the king, the one true ruler of Boston." And as that weighs heavily on your mind, as technically the 6 of you leave the sewer area, that's where we're going to end tonight.
Great. Thanks, Nate.
You're welcome. I do what I can. Let's go around the table, as it were. Again, for that, great session. That was fun. Especially when you find people with a third eye. It's always unusual. Let's go around the table, and starting with you, Tsai, give us, tell us what's going on. all that jazz.
Yes. Hello, I'm Tsai. Had a lot of fun tonight. Hunger mechanics let me make decisions I normally don't want to do, but they make things so interesting. But yes, you can find me on Twitter at TSAISU. Currently, this is the main show I'm doing. However, I do run games professionally for Magpie through their curated play program. So I have a few listings for Masks, a superhero teen game, open up for the month of November. Yes, November, because we're in October. And also Avatar Legends, the official Avatar RPG. So if you have an interest in those and want more of a curated experience, feel free to check my openings or any of the other very talented GMs on the site.
I highly recommend both games. They are fantastic. Next up, Rachel B.
Hi, I'm Rachel Beauregard playing Roisin. You can find me on Instagram at Manic Pixie Tank Girl, or you can find my designs at Bad Duck Design. Yes, that's all for me. My job's a bit weird. Love, Kenneth.
And you are fabulous as always. Oh, no problem. Next up, Rachel J.
Hi, I am Rachel J. Wilkinson, and I played Jane Dewey tonight. The thing that I am working on is Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga. So if you enjoy listening to your vampire stories, I will be putting out the last 2 episodes of our 2nd season in the next 2 weeks, 222. So yes, you can also follow us at VtM Port Saga or me at Ray J. Wilkinson on Twitter.
And I will let the Knights of the Round Table sit heavily in your head for 2 weeks. Next up, Krow.
Hi, I'm Krow. I played your venture for tonight. You can find me at XROWKROW on Twitter and on Twitch, but also officially for our new Blank Slate launch, you can find me at on Twitter Blank Krow. So BLANKKROW, Blank Krow. We're doing a new season of Macy Ascension Neon Gore, and we're doing Neon Gore Stitch this season. So it's going to be a 2-part season for this time. You really have to watch it. It's going to be a fashionably bloody time.
That is one World of Darkness game I have not played, and I really want to. It looks fascinating. As for myself, hello again. My name is Nate Bushman. I was your storyteller this evening. I'm a portrait and product photographer, occasional performer and writer, and storyteller for quite a few games. Because I don't know how to say no to things, tomorrow over on Open Circuit Studios, I'm actually running a vampire one-shot at 5 p.m. PST titled Welcome to Fright Night. And if you get the reference, you're awesome, because 80s horror is great. With a fantastic cast you should definitely tune into and watch. And on November 6th, over on Cybernation Uncensored at 4 p.m. Pacific, I'll be running Blade Runner, the role-playing game, with a fantastic group of people as we make our way through the starter set known as Electric Dreams. It's a great system. It's just super fascinating, the best type of investigative film noir I can think of, and I'm a sucker for that everywhere. Outside of that, you can find me on Twitter at Nate_B, Instagram at IndieNate, and if you feel like it, natebushman.com. There's good photos on there. Finally, shout out to all the awesome sponsors of this channel. I promise not to say them too fast because I feel like our tech would not love that, so they can type it in chat. Session Zero Clothing, fantastic D&D inspired streetwear. At checkout, use the code ORDER for 15% off your purchase. Next up, Norse Foundry Stellar Artisan Dice Makers. At checkout, use code TIO15 for 15% off your purchase. Mithril Armory, makers of the amazing Tin 20s and sketch dice. I found it very amusing months ago when it was on Agents of Dune, and Taryn Hackett was talking about how difficult those were, because I can only imagine that is true. They look difficult to put together, but in the best possible puzzle type way. At checkout, use code INITIATIVE for 10% off your purchase. And funny enough, next up, Umbral Oculus dice, gorgeous handmade dice made by the wonderful eldritch creative entity that is Taryn Hackett in the Initiative Order. Use code INITIATIVE for 10% off a full set of dice. And finally, hey, We have a Discord. Join it. It's awesome. It's a fantastic, inclusive community. Every month we run community games. I was running community games almost every single month this year because I kind of wanted to challenge myself. And then I realized it's a lot of work, but still, I'll keep doing it because it's a fun way to learn new systems that you'll never get a chance to play. It's always just open up. You can join, play a game for free. You get all the stuff added with it. We'll make sure you get copies of the book to read and whatnot. Highly recommend it. And with that, because next session, 2 weeks, is actually our finale. I'm a little sad because this has been a lot of fun. But until next time, it's our finale, and it looks like there might be a party you have to go to. And, Knights of the Round Table, they dance whenever they're able. Happy Halloween, everyone. Stay safe.